Okay, what it do? Boy Battle Truth, along with my big brother right here. Let's get right off into it again. So, oppression started to get lifted up a little bit, taking their foot off our necks. Then you take the leash off the dog, they begin to turn on each other. With the government, all my conspiracy theories, you know, the government already aware of what's taking place. Like, okay, this stuff is coming to a type of end. You know what I'm saying? We got other people in play. They finna pass these laws and policies, so we advance. Now, the reason why I say that is the Democratic.
Oh, you put it also.
I'm definitely. All right. Do you believe? Because with these, the law of segregation, with these laws now being abolished,
right?
Now you have to infiltrate again. Do you believe with the drugs now in the communities and things? Do you believe? Okay, I don't want to go too far because I still want to stick to where we was at.
Right.
About how the gangs was formed, why they was formed, because
where they got the energy from.
Right. And the split. But I know it still have to do with politics to some degree too.
In the University of Chicago.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, sort of like how the Black Panther movement was, it came together, then they infiltrated the community with the drugs that caused the split, and now everybody wants the power. And okay, break that down for me, bro. Cause do it line up.
Well, I think what we have to do when we're looking at this, and it's really, you know, this is not an actual fact, you know what I mean? You have to read between the lines and do some studying to come up with your truth. But, you know, when you're dealing with what he's talking about, you know, you have to know that, you know, just like God, the Almighty God, no matter how, what it is to you, whatever, there's something out there bigger than us. Everything is almost like predestined. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If I create something, I'm gonna know what my creation is capable of doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you're talking about government projects, listen to it.
Okay.
Government
project.
So what is this? An experiment.
Right.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna get all these low income project housing. We're gonna put all these broke people
in one little
and
area.
we're gonna you know this is created by us.
Right.
It's a project, a government project. You know, it's crazy because the people living in the project don't even understand that they are a living experiment.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're gonna see you know what happened. You know, the whole reason why we've done this in the first place is to prevent you from becoming anything. We know if anybody knows if you stack 1,000 broke people on top of each other.
This little square mile right here.
Right. What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
They're gonna terrorize. They're gonna tear that whole area down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
you could barely have something when most of the people ain't got nothing.
And you know they
like, could you really have something if the majority of the people ain't got nothing?
No, because you gonna and this is what happened, and this is why a lot of rappers do this. You know, they don't never stay in their neighborhood no more, do they? Mm-hmm. They get that money, they get out of there, because what happened is once you start getting money, you're not one of us no more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Going back to what we said, when we needed each other, we stuck together. We stuck together. So I still need you to break that thing down for me. So the gangs went together for the most part, even though it still was a little violent going on there.
You know, they had understanding with other clubs, groups, and stuff like that. But once you got your civil rights,
let me go. Because at one time you told me when you was grooming me on things, they all used like in Chicago. Okay, so it's different in different areas. Like in Chicago.
So we're the South Side. We're from the South Side.
Yeah, and in Chicago, we had colors, but not so as aggressive as the West Coast is with theirs. Most of our stuff was like to the right or to the left. That's like
they live in colors. We live in a Star War. Star Wars.
Right.
What star you up under?
And we had
we Star Wars.
And we had the hats. I mean, that's how we showed our disrespect for the most part, to the right, to the left. You know what I'm saying? So, but at one time you told me
that the way they wear their hats was similar. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
if you didn't know what it meant for that beard to be turned up from the right, and then that joint, the other part, to be slanted on the left, you know what I mean? You're looking and say, oh, he got his head to the left, just like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time, you know what I mean? Those symbols.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And everybody had this similar symbols. I'll tell you a similar symbol. When you stack them, I don't care if you stone or what, you stack them right on the left.
Right.
I don't care what you is.
Y'all don't know what stacking is. That's
right.
Okay.
This is how you gonna do it like this.
Right.
You know, ain't nobody. So if I'm folks, why is I'm stacking like this when everybody else doing it? Why would I turn it around and go like this? But that's not the way it is.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the things that, you know, we talking about, you know, the split in the city and all that is about you being free. And now your agenda didn't change. Because at first your agenda was, we ain't gonna let these white people come over here and do this and that. And that was the main, you know, push of your movement.
Right.
Now you don't have to worry about that no more to that degree.
Right.
It's still there, but it's not like that.
Right.
So now what do you focus on?
Probably getting money.
Right. And how are you going to get that money? Because you have no legendary skills like anything that you went to school for, you haven't done that. So what's out there?
Yeah.
Prostitution, gambling, and drugs.
Right.
That's out there all day.
Right.
So that's what they get involved in. And once you start to get involved in stuff like that, it creates an atmosphere for total chaos.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, they doing it too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you become what you hate.
So did the government flood the community with dope or what?
Actually, the government was at one time deliberately supplying places like California with Rick Ross now with cocaine by the ton. You know what I mean? So yeah, the government always played a part in the drug trade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Okay, I'll tell you what. How else can it get in? Because we ain't bringing nothing in here.
When I was watching the Pablo Escobar and
you see?
yeah, and it's crazy. I didn't think that was gonna pop up like that when I was watching the Pablo Escobar and what's his other dude after him who was working for him too, El Chapo.
Oh no, that's see Escobar.
He worked for him too.
No, Pablo Escobar is from Colombia.
Right.
El Chapo was from Mexico.
Right.
The Mexicans are mules for the Spanish people from South America because that's the only place that grow the coca leaf.
Right.
Then they get it to Mexico and give it to the Mexicans to get it into the United States.
Okay, I'm only saying that because it was like showing a little thing when they were working together to some degree. But I'm saying, but this is what I wanted to say. If they played the part where they were showing how like they got big by transporting dope to Chicago.
Oh, that was El Chapo.
I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And how it first made news like big in Chicago, do murders and things like that, or what was taking place. And when I heard that, I was like, dang, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to remember this guy. You know, the BGs was mentioned. Our West was messing hard with El Chapo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, see stuff
that's
like
who
that.
Was one of the guys that before they grabbed out Chapo, the guy that was running the BGs out West,
right.
In one of them areas, he had a good line with El Chapo with the heroin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you know how they go. They get popped. You got a crew of people. They start telling. Before you know it, they're aware of your dealings with your connect. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but you know, everything stems from segregation. Once that was lifted, and you know, we achieved the civil rights, but at the same time now, you know, the government is something else because they know pretty much. They got thousands of years of experimenting with communities.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, what we gonna put all these people at when they come from the south?
Right. She said,
because they broke.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't want them either. You know, the white people up north was racist too, but it was a different type of racist. You know what I mean?
Right.
Man, so we just stack them all up on top of each other, and you know, see what happens from there. You know what I mean? We know the outcome is that very few of them are going to make it in society to be anything other than, you know, a junkie, sarcophagus, you know,
Right.
or an inmate.
Right.
You know, in and out of jail all your life, That's all you got to show for your life.
Right.
In and out of jail. You know, and then when people talk to these street people that, because they don't know nothing about the streets for real. How could you be on the streets and don't know nothing about the streets? You think you run that block? That block was there before your mama was born.
Right.
And that block belonged to the state.
Right.
The state belonged to the government.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You don't run nothing.
Nothing.
We allowing you to be out there and do that.
They sure make you move around. Y'all get up off the block, out that corner, like.
And now we coming to the final finale with when you saying the theories with the government conspiracy contributing to the gangs in Chicago, which is a true story. You know, they have how shall I say this? They have given them funds and stuff like that. You know, and you gotta think about it. If I give you some money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's supposed to be for day leaders to get books and education. But why would I give you that knowing that that's not your agenda?
Right.
I know what you stand for.
Right.
You know what I mean? I know what you about. I know you ain't trying to do this.
Right.
You on something else. So they get the money, guess what they're gonna do with it? Guns and drugs.
Right.
And you don't think they knew they wasn't gonna do
right.
that? That's a common sense.
They knew that. Right.
If you are a ruthless individual in your community, and everybody, when you say something, you can hear a penny drop.
Right.
I know when I give you this money, what you gonna do with it?
Right.
You finna build on this fear that you got going on in your community.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Let's say something wrong. See, won't you come up missing out here?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Right. Now you got even more money. Right.
They played a part in that, you know, and that's why when I look at these cities, man, and I say, man, look at this here. Because when everything was first happening, they were aware. They could have stopped it right there.
Let me ask you this. What was one of the saddest things you ever saw on the streets? Like you ever saw on the streets with your own eyes, you just shook your head like, man, that's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you something that happened that I thought was, man, monstrous. It was beyond savage. You know, what's lower than the street? The sewer. Okay. So, you know, we on the block, people out here doing their thing, whatever they doing. This lady comes through, she grab a couple bags or whatever. You know how they come to shop, and this is what they do. She goes back to where she came from and shorts her spouse out, the guy that, her companion.
They sent her to go get the dope, bro.
So she swallowed a couple bags, and evidently when he got on her and started busting her up, I guess she finally told him what she did. He went in her stomach, and cut her stomach open. He killed her to go get that. That was like, What the?
Dallas.
And you know what I mean? You should remember that.
It sounded familiar when
You was gonna watch the
when you just did the ending part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that was crazy.
You know what? One thing that was crazy too. It was this one hype dude that used to come by all the time. I used to serve, and he would be like he was like a retired VA, and he was a retired VA, and he would be coming from the clinic sometimes, be having a little prescription stuff with him sometimes. And he used to always want credit sometimes. Sometimes he'll pay, sometimes he won't credit. And one day, I don't know, just one day he went to the other people, but that was probably like down and around the corner on the next block or so. He went there to get some dope. And he ended up killing that whole house. He killed everybody in the house, like four of the dudes. It was just at my house, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I would have never saw it coming. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's terrible. And this is how
That's
you know,
crazy.
As a society, we slip. We losing focus. Our morals are getting less and less each day because you know when you out there doing that you know you got kids who are starving because their parents taking the money.
Right.
They're going to buy the drugs. They're going to pump. The kids don't get diapers. They don't get food.
Right.
You know, once you realize that this is the after effect, and you're a part of the system because you in it too. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I hear, you know, everybody, man, rapping and, you know, guys are talking about birds and guns and stuff like that, it's like that is a shameful aspect of our world. It is not something that you brag and you boast about because at the end of the day, you're killing your own people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So don't be, you know, I know a lot of guys out there because they don't know what to do. You got to do what you got to do. I understand that. You know, you got to feed your family. You know, I understand that. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is don't be prideful of the way you make that money if you make it like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, before I tell somebody, man, listen, man, I'm slanging and I'm doing this and that, and I'd rather just be like, look, man, I'm working a job.
Right.
I'm not finna expose you, you know what I'm saying, to the shameful parts of my world. Why would I do that? Right. You know what I mean? I'm not finna do that. Right. You know, and then for you to be on that, talking, oh yeah, that's a real dude like that. Yeah, and I just sold your mama a couple bags. Okay, come on, man, stop it with your foolishness. You know what I mean? You know, it used to be a time that, you know, people who condoning those type of activities was under the table. You know, all shameful things were done in the, you know, under the table in the dark. You know, it wasn't supposed to be talked about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But now it's like an honorable thing. You know, you see it with the rappers all day long. Yeah, I'm whipping, and I'm whipping it, and you act like that's something to be proud about. Right. You know what I mean? They're gonna take that, get to your people, and they, you know, you helping your community suffer. Right. You know what I mean? I see it all the time. You know, that gets me every time. And I know that, you know, we've all played a part in shameful events, you know what I mean? And you can't take that back. You can't go back. If we go back in time, you could. I'll do it all, do something totally different, you know what I mean? But, you know, this is not something that, you know, we should be proud of. And we played a part in it, you know. I wanted to put that out there so the audience would know that, you know, even though we're talking about all this stuff, you know what I mean? This is not something that we're proud of. It's just our history. Right. You know, things that we've been through and some of the things that we've done. You know, now that we know better, we know a lot better. Right. And we know how to live, will we go back? If we could go back and do the same thing? No. We done that because that's all we knew. That's all we wanted to know. You know what I'm saying? We so mad at the world because our living standards are terrible.
Right.
You know, at the crib. So we don't care about hurting nobody else, man. You know what I mean? Actually, in some parts of it, without us even understanding it, we hate ourselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things. But you know, nothing can take place without the government's approval.
Right.
Especially on a large scale. You know this is happening out there. We're gonna sit back, let it blow up, and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we take it down, it'll look like, you know what I'm saying, we a saint, you know. Like we saved the community. The whole time you've been knowing them guys was out there doing that, and you let them do that much damage.
Right.
They say, you know, I was looking in the paper about that area they call Old Block where Vaughn from.
Right.
And I think they said that one time that building over there, they would make like $300,000. I think it was maybe a day or something like that.
Mm.
And, you know, are you saying this as like it's something to be proud of? Because now I'm going to tell you how they're making the money. Drugs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So can you imagine the damage that's done to that big apartment complex?
And all the lives that basically
in there. Listen, at the end of the day, the people who are going to suffer the most are the kids.
Right.
Where the kids, you're born into this atmosphere, and you know you got to live.
Right.
So you got to adapt to it.
And that's why we grow up. We have more killers, more stick up men,
That's right.
more drug users. Yeah.
We got it all based on
and the cycle still keep going. Yeah.
It never stops. It never stops.
Right. That's true.
And I don't think that. I think now we go back to talking about our personal communities. I think the only way it's going to stop is the community itself got to be involved.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
And parents got to.
The parents got to do their job.
Right. It always goes back to the parents.
It's always the parents when it comes to kids, man. You know.
Right.
So, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, if you're out there doing what you're doing, and it's one of them things that you know on the other side of the end, somebody's going to suffer from it.
Right.
You know, I know if I sell you 20 a dime bag of rocks that you can buy out here and smoke it, and I'm taking from the kids because every dollar you get, you bring it to me.
Right.
Now, so the kids go up home, you know, shoes, you know, You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just saying, if you're not making your money the right way, I don't think you should be out there boasting and bragging about it. Because if you're doing it like that, you're hurting entire whole families.
Right.
You know what I mean?